make sure everything's working. I will check and we'll get going. All right. Because tonight's a little different. We're just, it's not an actual recording podcast that's going to the audio. We've already got the audio loaded for the start of season 6, episode 1. That is called Barrel to Bottle Whiskey Thief Innovative Journey Uncut and Unfiltered, start of season 6. This is our start. You can check us out on all the podcast formats: Apple, Instagram, Spotify, our iHeart, Deezer, whatever. Go play some video games, listen to our podcast, and sip a awesome glass of Whiskey Thief or your favorite bourbon. So I got to make sure now. I'm going to monitor. I get to monitor. I do believe I did see Walker in. Yeah, was Walker in, or was it just Jamie? I sent him.
So far, I'm
not seeing
replying
Walker.
to names. I hadn't seen Walker in.
I did send him the invite, but he could be busy. And I did tell everybody that this week it might not be. I got to just make sure everything's working. Let's see. All right. All right. It's all working. Your microphone's, well, I'll make sure mine is
Busy, and I did.
Yep. We're all working. I'm going to monitor YouTube from there. And then
I got Facebook monitor.
You're monitoring Facebook? All right. So are you done sharing?
Yeah, I'm replying to comments right now.
All right. I've got my little Whiskey Thief taster. Everybody on YouTube. Welcome on YouTube.
I'm actually,
Tater Dom, you're on. Let me hit the chat. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Tonight's
to our little short introduction to Whiskey Thief Distilling Company. One of the most fantastic experiences that I've ever been on, and I had a pleasure of doing and introducing my partner and cohort here, Tiny.
Woo!
And let's
we got Super Nash here. We got Super Nash. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and look at both cameras tonight. But like I said,
this is one of the bottles that you'll be able to do. You'll be able to once you thief from the barrel there. You'll be able to choose a size of bottle if you like the whiskey or rye that you're thieving, and then you can do it yourself. You can thief and fill your own bottle, which we did, and I believe this was on December 16th of last year when we stopped in there, and we picked up and bottled this own bottle. Actually, it was 12/17, December 17th, 2023.
Yep, that was right after the Christmas party. We went down there, and it was cold. It was very unique. The day was kind of cool because we were at the end of it was near the end of the day, so we were like the only ones there. So I felt
only ones in there, so we had a fantastic experience.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So right now tonight we have the owner of Whiskey Thief on. If you see Walter in the comments, you'll know that he's out there. Feel free to ask Walter any question in the comments. He's right there with us tonight. But what I want to do is let's get back to, oh, that's funny. I got off that. Let's see. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. So
what do you want to get back to?
What? So let's get some stuff in our. Let's get this in our glass, okay?
Oh my gosh! And got the spammers.
We always get this.
They can. She can get all this Whiskey Thief distilling whiskey and get it to every one of us.
Yeah, exactly. No, you can't.
No, she can't.
Just know that what she's doing is ridiculous.
Yeah, she's hitting everybody that's in here.
And that's a bot. It's a lie. She doesn't even know what Whiskey Thief is. If she did, she wouldn't even try that. And there's no getting bottles, folks. Just make sure that you know that. All right. So what we're super excited about, it was a week ago from last Sunday. We were at Whiskey Thief, and I love the Whiskey Thief experience. I've loved it from the start. Super Nash, why don't you tell everybody when we had come down? I believe it was 3 years ago for Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and I want to say three because the evolution of what we've done, we're gonna be going into our fourth year of going down for Kentucky Bourbon Festival now. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So,
that
yeah.
first time we had stopped off at Neely and met you at Neely, but you had gotten in early, like Super Nash does. And you had
I
time
like
to
that.
burn that day while we were driving down. Tell them about what you did.
So I had looked this up, and at the time it was Three Boys Farms Distillery, and I saw that you could go in and thief from the barrel, and if you like what you thief, you could actually thief and fill your own bottle. So I went in and I met Hunter and a few of the others. I believe I might have met Walter just briefly. Uh, Tell me if I'm wrong, Walter. Did I meet? I think I might have met you that day
I think you
and told
mentioned that you
and
did.
just, yeah, and passed a card along to you. And but I think it was mostly Hunter that day that I talked with, and a couple of the others that were in there that were doing the actual presentation and thieving from the barrels. And I immediately thieved a full bottle, and which is the old label like what you have right there. And I still have it in my bourbon bunker. I hadn't even cracked it open because that was a special bottle. Yep. And so that day, like I say, I stopped in there, got the whole experience of thieving from the barrels and tasting. And I believe there was like 4 barrels out that day. Got to taste from each one, and then found the one that I liked, and then thieved and filled a whole 750 milliliter bottle myself. Put the labels on, sealed it, took it home with me. Actually, I think I did 2 of those.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
brought
because I
them.
do have one open and I do have one unopened.
But you
And then I came on up and met y'all at Neely Distillery, and I was just so elated, wasn't
yes,
I?
yeah, you
I
said
mean,
that.
so excited. It's like, you've got to try this. This is probably one of the best experiences that you can do back then. You know, it
Right.
was like one of a kind.
It was.
I couldn't wait to tell you about it and
Yeah,
get it out.
you couldn't contain yourself. You were
I
like,
know.
this is the coolest thing. And I gave him a card. I gave him your card because you had my cards at the time, I believe, way back then.
Yeah, I wasn't even big enough in the group to have my own cards.
That's how far away how far
Yeah,
down the line
that's
this
how
was.
far we've came since then.
Yeah, and so you were so you talked about it, and I was like thinking about this and how I thought about it. You didn't describe it quite. I was thinking about an old barn in back of the thing. I wasn't thinking about that, the kind of barn that they have and all the stuff. But at the same time, knowing that happened, we knew we had to get there.
Yeah,
So that same year, I believe that was the following year. Roxy and I went to the Alan Bishop experience, and at the Alan Bishop experience was Hunter Coffee, who Hunter. It was wild what we all did. So it involved taking shirts off, and it was just like some crazy stuff.
oh, let's
And
not get
and
deep into that.
I got to know Hunter kind of a little bit there. So that was on a Saturday night, and my some things happened, and on our way home, we were traveling back alone between me and Roxy, and we decided because it was open on a Sunday and there was nothing else open that we'd stop in. So when we stopped in, Hunter was there. Now it wasn't the greatest. I stopped in. I thieved some a bottle. I bought and did the whole experience. He didn't really he knew me, but he didn't really know the podcast experience and what we were about to do. So I thieved it, me and Roxy thieved it. We did, and we were making shorts, not shorts, reels on Facebook at the time. And it was such a cool experience. I mean, and this experience is you come in, and it's really cool because it's not that far from Buffalo Trace. Actually, it's about the same distance from the freeway on the exit as when you get off. If you go to Buffalo Trace, you go left, and if you go right to Whiskey Thief, you're right there. And so we were there. It was, and we got the whole, we were thieving. I had my own at that time. I had just gotten my own thief right before that, and we were just, you know, we had a great time. I got to talk to Hunter, but Hunter had just put his, it was kind of a sad thing because Hunter had just put his dog down. And so, no, actually, Hunter, actually, it wasn't that. I think one of his friends, something happened to one of his friends, and he was very, very upset. So we kind of, said our condolences, and we left. I then made my first ever 1.4 million reel. I was so excited. We were promoting Whiskey Thief, and that happened. So
Yeah.
the next time, so this was probably in May. So the next time we were all meeting, so we all met at, if I'm not mistaken, on this time down, we all met at uh yeah, we all met at Jay Mattingly or Bourbon 30, and then then when
Yeah.
we were done there, we went over to Whiskey Thief again, and that's when
Yes.
we got to meet Hannah. And that's when the promotion of Whiskey Thief just exploded. What did Walter said? I'm sorry, I just was trying to.
That was
He said he,
historic.
he was
He
around
thinks he was around when you
when you
did the
did the
reel.
reel. Yeah, yeah. And then when Hannah was doing the reel the first time, and that was crazy because this time we went down, she was like, she made, I was able to make 5 or 6 reels because it was from each different barrel, and she did, and they just exploded, and it promoted Whiskey Thief to the point. Yes, you were. Walter was there, and on that one, what happened is we all went over to the place, and Walter was supposed to meet us with Hunter, but Hunter said Walter was tied up. So what we did is we left and we went we went over to Buffalo Trace for a while, and then we came back when Walter was there. We got to meet Walter. We got to do the Hannah thing and everything, and that's just kind of how. Once we met you, Walter, you just had this feeling that this was spectacular, and I believe that time was the podcast when you guys said that I had to hold off a little bit, but you announced that you were changing your name from Three Boys Farms to Whiskey Thief.
Whiskey Thief Distilling. Yep.
Yep. And
yeah, he gave us that information live on the podcast, but we had to hold it and keep it quiet for a little while.
Right. And so it was Three Boys Farms at the time, and not that. And it's funny because, yep, podcast at the bar.
Podcast
you
at the bar. Yep,
check
right
out
outside
that
there.
Podcast at the bar. I believe it's on YouTube and it's on our our audio. So that is there. That was great. We made the announcement. We delayed it, but that was like the kickoff 2 years ago. Coming into this now. Then we've been back multiple times. CT joined the group. CT has been in there. He tortures me by going there enough, and then I got to watch him get the thief with Hannah, and then Hannah basically said, they just rub it in all the time. But our goal when we're going down is that this experience is so much fun and the whiskey's so good. So then recently we learned that Hunter had moved on. He's doing his own thing, and Kelly Tennille, who we knew through the Alan Bishop experience and through Alan Bishop, she since joined the Whiskey Thief Distilling Company's family, and we knowing Kelly and seeing her and coming over there and visiting her, and then Hannah's there, Kelly's there. I think the one time that it was Andy, myself, CT, and we had stopped by. I don't know. I think on that one it was us four that time, and we had stopped in and we were just doing the experience, and then we were supposed to go home. We were supposed to leave at like 2 o'clock. We got there at like 11:30. We talked with Walter. Walter was there. Walter, your brother was there. That was fantastic. And he's the one that was doing the thieving for us. And that's right when you had the lunch truck. So we got the whole experience with the lunch truck and cigars and sitting there and thieving and moving and talking and getting some more content. That as we push out the content from Whiskey Thief, I've actually started from going around to different distilleries, but it's mainly coming out of Whiskey Thief Distilling, the thieving whiskey thieving 101. I do that on.
That's what I wanted to say is that that's one thing that we've been able to watch how Whiskey Thief Distillery has just stepped up at their whole experience. Not only do you get to do that, but you come in, you get to see this giant pot still and the fermentation tanks and everything. So you basically getting a tour of the distillery. Then you get to go back there and thieving. But once you're done with that, you've got this whole big lounge area outside. You got a fire pit. You got chairs and stuff like that outside that they've got set up, a nice area like that you can just relax, have a drink, have a pour, have a cigar. Now they've got the lunch trucks coming in and all that on the weekends. So I mean, they have really stepped up your whole bourbon experience to a whole nother level. It's not just this one thing. I mean, it's multiple things now that you can experience.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. As it evolved, we've been evolving. We've kind of solidified our team. They're solidifying their team, and so I'd just like to give a quick from the distillery trail a little bit about. This was a little bit back, but what's old is new again. Whiskey Thief Distilling Company, founded in 2012 as Three Boys Farm, sits on a 127-acre working farm on the outskirts of Frankfort, Kentucky. Along the way, the family that founded the distillery changed its name to Three Boys Farm Distillery to pay homage to their triplet sons. A couple of years ago, and a little bit more than that now, the family sold the distillery to the entrepreneur and former architect Walter Zausch. Under his ownership, he's made changes to expand the visitor experience, update production equipment, and expand operational capacity. And one big change is return to the distillery's original name, Whiskey Thief Distilling Company. He also, along with his business partners, family, and friends, celebrated the name change with a little distillery barn bash. In addition to celebrating the name change, he shared the news that the distillery was also part of the official trail, Kentucky Bourbon Trail Craft Tour. So a lot of stuff has happened, and that's one of the things that the key to this is one thing that's been the same is that when you walk in, you're basically walking into a barrel pick. Now, people don't quite understand the fun of a barrel pick, but this is, when you go to pick a barrel and purchase a barrel, you'll have 3 or 4 to choose from, and then you're going to taste them as a group. You're going to figure out which one you want, and then you buy the whole barrel. And you'll leave with maybe thieving the barrel and getting some samples, and then you're going to wait 5, 6, 7 months. At Whiskey Thief, when you walk in, you're basically the tour, which is right now $30, and you would say, even that price is low for this type of experience. If you're going to do this at a Jim Beam, you're going to be paying $225, to do this. Now, there's times when Kelly's there. There's going to be times when the master distillers or the distillers are there. Derek will be there. Walter's there. So you're getting, like, from the start, you had Hunter and Walter that you met. So you're getting the distilling team there, all kind of promoting what's going on all along, where they're going to take you on a tour. They're going to show you how they ferment. They're going to show you, their fermenting tubs. They're going to show you, sometimes the still is working, sometimes it's not. Just depends on when you're there. They're going to show you the still and how they go about it. And then now they've built, since we've been there, they've got a rick house built on the hill. It's fantastic. We actually podcasted from that rick house. And then they're going to take you back, and there's going to be 5 barrels. When each barrel runs out, they roll out the next one. So they're always picking and choosing what's going to go out. Now they got 2 stations now for when they get really crowded, but you're going to go up and you're going to basically have one of the associates, ambassadors for Whiskey Thief, and there's many, and Hannah will do it too. And then they're going to go through each one, and on a chalkboard is the mash bill, the age, and it gives you what
all the characteristics of that barrel.
Yeah, the taste
are going to be on that chalkboard for you to look at while you're tasting it, so you know what you're tasting, what proof you're tasting it at, the amount of corn, the amount of barley, the amount of rye, or if it's a wheated mash bill, you're going to know what you're tasting. The barrel proof entry and stuff like that is all on that board while you're being able to experience it.
Well, what's crazy is Walter just said, do you want to know a secret you can share?
Absolutely.
Heard it there first. Heard it here first.
Walter.
Yeah, we'd love to know a secret we can share. And we're always fun. But as you get this presentation and everybody gets a glass, sometimes it comes with a bourbon ball in it. And you get this glass and they'll fill it and you get to taste all 5 the fall. We are adding wheat to the... Oh, yes. Did you hear that? I knew there was a reason for doing this podcast. This live, not a podcast, but this live on, you just heard it, folks, on YouTube and Facebook Live. Wheated bourbon is getting added to the mash bill. And I can only imagine
that are going to be laid out this year.
But, it's... Go ahead.
That means that we'll be definitely stopping by there Christmas time.
I can't wait. That sounds spectacular. Yeah,
fantastic, Walter.
That will be great. Okay, Walker's on. Cheers, Walker. So it's very kind of what would you say? That's exciting. You heard that here first too. Oh. But this is where you should hear this stuff, because Whiskey Thief Distillery is our sponsor, our main sponsor. They have Walter and I discussed it. We're working out the details, but I'll be working on getting the media up and everything. And it's been a little busy for me because every weekend I'm off, going here or there. But we'll be putting the spots up. We'll be promoting it. I'm so excited because when you have a bourbon or a whiskey you love, just like with the Spirit of French Lick, Kelly Tennille, who's been on Moonshiners, and then also has been under a little bit of learned a lot from Alan Bishop, who really knows thing about running a pot still. And same thing with Hunter. He knew, him and Alan were friends. And honestly, that is a spectacular combination of what they got there. Plus, they just brought in Derek, who comes from the beer industry, but he also comes from the distilling industry because he worked out in Wyoming with right after okay, I got to remember this. Right after the distiller at Bardstown, come on, help me with the Bardstown, not Nick Smith, but Steve Nally. Steve Nally went out there. And I did check with Alan and also with not Shay, but Bill Hockett, that they did purchase barrels from the Wyoming distilling right before Derek came out. So we had talked about that on the last one. So there's so many different ties to so many people in the industry, but the team they got there right now, I really believe is going to take them even further.
Right. Walter said they're going to have 3 bourbons, 1 wheat, and 1 rye whiskey barrel out come this fall. That's going to be the lineup.
Can you do that on our way down Saturday?
Yeah.
Isn't September 7th fall? No, I get it. Anyways, that's awesome. Great stuff. John Ritt is on tonight. Hey, John, it's great to see you. Got to stop by this past weekend at John's house. What?
You almost left that bottle at his house. That Whiskey Thief Distilling bottle.
He did come and get it. He did come
I
out.
saw it in the pictures. I was like, hey, that looks like the one that we picked.
Anyways, so that's
Cheers, John. Cheers, Walker.
Yeah, that's the spectacular part of Whiskey Thief. But if you want to go again to Spotify, iHeart, Apple, you can listen to our podcast that we did live a week ago last Sunday, and a week from last Sunday, when Walter and Derek were on, and it was a spectacular podcast. That was on live on YouTube, not on YouTube, but on Facebook. So you can check it out there. But people on YouTube, if you want to hear that, just go right to your favorite audio podcast. It's up there. Well worth listening. It's the first podcast of season 6. I felt it would be completely appropriate considering them being our new sponsor. And I can't wait to get everything up and running on that. And Walter's giving a shout out to the third shift guy, Brandon Reynolds. He was Hunter's apprentice, and that's really cool. I can't wait to
the silent ninja of whiskey. All right.
So now they also have a single barrel program that Hannah is head of right now. You can actually go there and have a barrel experience like the regular barrel experience, not the one that you get there. And you could pick from different barrels, and that you pick from different barrels that they roll out for you, and you can buy complete barrels. Now, I don't know.
For your group or for yourself, right? But mostly for groups. Only Whiskey Nash buys the whole barrel, right?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm the only one that buys whole barrels and has 400 bottles of whiskey in his living room.
Yeah, that's right.
But I will say this, Walter. We tend to do our barrel picks with our sponsors, so we've got a couple. So this should be. I look forward to this being a great experience. I can't wait to get going. We are going to be coming down on Saturday. If it works out, we're going to try and figure out the best day to stop in with the full team. So this should be an awesome relationship. So real quick, Nash, what's your favorite things about, not only is the experience great, but we're talking about some damn good pot, well aged pot still
Still whiskey.
whiskey.
Yeah.
7 years, 6 years. I've never seen anything less than 5. But
Yeah.
but they're gonna roll out those barrels that they feel that are worthy of it. And when you taste those different barrels, each one is unique, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, every one is flavorful, and that's the thing about it is every one is a single barrel. It's not a blended batch that you're tasting. So get down to Whiskey Thief Distilling and get your experience and taste a single barrel and bottle it up. You can bottle a 1 bottle, 2 bottles, or more. I don't think there's a limit on the bottles you can bottle, is there, Walter?
I don't. But I also will
You
say,
know that I've never even thought about asking that question. I know that I bottled like 3 at one time back a couple of years ago. Uh, So I think that's the most that I've bottled at one time. So, and Walter says no, there is no limit. So you can actually bottle the whole barrel while you're there if you like what you taste, and uh, and take it home with you.
so
So
I got the Remy stamp on here, distilled and bottled by. And then this one from, I'll give you, it was 6 year, and it was the mash bill 78 10 12. It was a bourbon, 116 proof. Um, and it was this is the one that I filled when I was making the famous video, and then
okay.
it's signed by Hunter. So one of the cool things is if you're there and the distillers are there,
Randy said the limit is the credit card limit. There you go.
So this one has been, I want to say, it's been since, I want to say this has been open for like about almost 3 years. So I'm just gonna get this one a cheers in my Whiskey Thief Distilling glass. Us wearing our I'll even switch this around. I even got that. See, Walter, I'd never lie. I've got the hat. I found it as we were talking. Might be
I
some
definitely got my
real.
Whiskey Thief. It's kind of like a sweatshirt. It's not really a sweatshirt. It's just a long sleeve
Mhm.
and feels really comfortable.
Well, actually, I really feel that they also own the swag.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to get a swag, Walter. It's like I love the black, all the stuff that you get for your distilling team. And then
matter of fact, this is what else that I have from Whiskey Thieves Distilling.
I remember.
They sell Whiskey Thieves
Yep.
in their gift shop.
Yep.
And because I have some mini barrels that are aging of my own product, I needed a small Whiskey Thief. So where was I at when I was checking out? I looked up and saw them in the gift shop there and picked me up one. So
No, I do have a Vendome one that I got, but
yeah.
this is a Whiskey Thief. Everybody, it's this length and it's designed, and when you go there, you're gonna use versions of this. There's many different ones because they've got a decent amount, but this is how you drop it in. It works like a straw, uh, taking soda out of or water out of a glass into another glass. Same thing. Great videos. You put it in, you fill your glass. It's like one thing that you'll know that the fuller the barrel, the more that you can thief out. It's always fills the thief to the level of the barrel. So if the level's full, you're going to fill this thing all the way up. If it's low, you're only going to fill it the 4 inches that are on the bottom. But at the same time, one thing I want to say is that all the whiskey, all of it, is uncut and unfiltered. And
There you go.
Walter came up with, we had
Flavor.
changed it to Live Your Life Adventurously, but our new podcast slogan that we come up with at the end of every podcast is live your life uncut and unfiltered. And I really
Filtered.
think that's what it's going to be, because that's what it should be, because it says everything about what you want to do. And it doesn't go too far. It doesn't go, but it relates to whiskey. Wouldn't you say that, Nash?
I agree 100% with you there, Tiny.
There are many
Oh,
like it. Yes.
is there anything else that we hadn't covered? Anybody?
Yeah, Walter, do you
Is
want
it?
us to say anything?
Is there? Yeah, or anybody that's watching? Are there any questions that you might have for Walter while we got him on here?
Well, I could say www.whiskeythief.com. And, when you come up, the first thing you're going to do is see Hannah. And it's a pretty cool website. It tells you everything that you need to know. And but it's the Whiskey Thief Distilling Company at Three Boys Farms. But like I said, there's not. You can go to Buffalo Trace and you can go to Jim Beam, and they have great experiences. But Whiskey Thief's experience is, just fantastic.
You get to thief from a barrel, fill your own bottle, and you get to taste from those barrels. And you don't normally get to go to those other distilleries and get to thief from barrels and taste from the barrels straight from the barrel, uncut, unfiltered, and then decide, hey, I like that, bottle it, and then you do it. So
Right. I
there you go.
mean, you don't get, yeah, when you're there, you might do the thieving and everything, and then walk out and they'll have a bottle. I think we did that, like you filled your own Knob Creek, but that wasn't from the barrel that you dumped. I mean, these are different things. I've thieved from a Jim Beam Black barrel, but I didn't get a bottle from it. I got to taste it right from the barrel. This, you're going to thief it, you're going to taste it. You can taste all 5 barrels. Go grab something to eat, smoke a cigar, maybe go back to 1 or 2 of the barrels, check it out, and then pick what you want. You don't have to buy a bottle. But the other aspect is if you want to buy a half bottle, that's available too. It's available in 375 and 750 milliliters. I think that's marketing genius by Walter to offer those 375s. It just allows, you could buy 2 barrels and get two 375s, and you're going to get the taste. It's for us on the podcast, this is always spectacular because
Yeah.
look at Nash, and behind him how much whiskey
Uh,
look at how much
I'm
whiskey
out of
I
room
have.
because of all these 750 milliliter bottles, and these, when I get these bottles, it's like that top shelf up there. The 750s won't fit on my top shelf. So when I get these, it's like the perfect size, and I can come right in. Still got a place to put it.
But at the same time, you can only drink so much bourbon. The
Yeah,
world the
that's why.
world
That's
the
why I've
world
got
of
so much back there.
The world of whiskey could end today, and even Nash has a lifetime supply behind him. There's no doubt.
Absolutely.
So that's
And
one thing
and
that
in
I
my
like.
bunker closet of backups.
I know all about your bunkers.
That can happen.
And what
Yeah.
about your bunker kitchen cabinets?
It's all in one bunker since
I know,
my
I
wife
know.
got married.
You're
It's
married.
one. Yeah.
I still was waiting for a couple to come up when you had to clean out the kitchen cabinets again. So, anyways, all right.
You're still waiting, aren't you?
Oh yeah, Walker says. I mean, not. Yeah, Walker says you get to that they got music playing. So not Hey, okay,
Yeah.
Walter, do you ever bring bands out? For Is there a night that you have live music? I mean, I know you have different events, but is there a night you have live music? Is that a possibility of what you guys do? I mean, it's really cool because if you've ever been on a farm apple picking. It's kind of like the road to the apples on the hayride is a long road. It's the same thing. You come up at Whiskey Thief and you go by their main gift shop. You can stop in, or you take the long road, dirt road down to the distillery, and they've got a Bobcat, they've got Phil. They're always constantly keeping that road as, what would you say, as smooth as they can. Uh, So he says Fridays and Saturdays from 6 p.m. usually 1 to 6 p.m. They've got music out there. So there, so you've
I thought they did, but I just wanted him to reaffirm it.
yeah, for sure. That's why I asked. I mean, it's just those are the times that you need to be there. I mean, it's an overall hang out. You can meet family and friends there, and it's just basically with the food truck and the food they have now. I mean, the food has been pretty. He's upgraded that food truck a couple times, and this last time when we were there, the food was spectacular. I had their burger, I believe is the everything burger, and then some of their buffalo cheese fries, and those were really good. I mean, it was great. And then uh, you can just the patio and all the furniture they got out there. They've expanded out so that everybody just can sit out there and relax. It's it's kind of like coming home. So it's a really down home experience. All right.
Absolutely.
So, do you got anything else to add, Nash? We said this is going to be short. We got to cut it short tonight. I just wanted to throw it out there for everybody. I really, really enjoy. I'll do a shout out to Tater Dom. He's drinking Old Granddad 114 tonight. We've got Swollett's barreled Silvowitz because we got Sebastian. He said Old Granddad. I'll Google it. He didn't know. And then he said he does Silvowitz barreled Silvowitz. So that he must be out of Russia. So that we got guys drinking Russian whiskey with us. So cheers, everybody out there.
One more thing.
Yep.
Walter just said that they are opening a tasting room in Louisville if you can't get out to the farm.
Yes, and
so looking forward to that.
He did mention that when you open that up, we should try. I should try and get down there. Just if it's a Tuesday night, that would be rough.
He meant we should try to get down. I should try to get up there. He should try to get down there. That's what he meant, Walter.
Yeah, there you go. That's fantastic. Yeah, this one, that original one. All the brown sugars. I would say a good majority of the pot still that they make is not. It's the whiskey lovers pot still. It doesn't have a huge amount of sweetness. You know what I mean? It picks up that whiskey flavor, and for a long time, Hunter was the distiller, and you knew kind of what he was always looking for. He could talk about that. So, yeah, we're sharing this one. You got the same one as I do right there, right? We both have this. This is a shared 12, 17, 23.
74, 12, 14.
Yep.
6 years. Yeah.
I mean, and one of the things, the last thing I'll say,
119 proof, but it doesn't drink like 119 proof.
I will say that we talked about this, that the barrel, while it's out on the floor, will actually change flavors. For the most part, they try and run it out, and they can kind of tell it's going to get. The flavors are going to start to get stronger and better. But even then, sometimes if the temperature changes, they could see that you actually, while you're there, and then if you go back, like if you're in the area and you go back like a couple days later, tasting the same barrel, you can see how whiskey in Kentucky and all the weather, how it affects the whiskey in the barrel. So it's very, it's like they don't, when it comes to bottling this, it might be out there for a week and a half before they're finished with what it is, and it can run its course. Whereas when you drink something from the barrel, you taste it, they barrel it, and it's that all those bottles are just locked. Where here, the same barrel can produce different flavors. And so if you're looking for variety and you're looking for something different, this place has it. It's part of the craft whiskey trail, but even if you're on the bourbon trail, the main one, if you're in that Frankfurt area and you're stopping off at Wild Turkey, or you're stopping off at Buffalo Trace, or you're at Woodford Reserve, you got to make time to go to the Three Boys Farm and the Whiskey Thief Distilling Company on Three Boys Farm. It's just
Absolutely.
fantastic.
That's no doubt got to be one of your stops. And we hope we've given you enough information that will make you want to go out there. And I'm sure, like I said, if you check out the podcast that they did last weekend, and a couple of the podcasts that we've done there before, especially the one with Walter when we did that one at the bar, and all the reels that Jeff's made and that I've made over the last couple of years. So you'll see what kind of experience that you can have. And that's just touching on it. That's just us telling you from our viewpoint. Each individual person's experience is tailored to you once you get out there. Am I not right?
Yeah,
once you get there.
But the people, like, you're there, and if you hang out for a while, different people come through, and then you could talk about those barrels with different people and what they think. And everybody knows this is just a personal experience, and everybody's expressing on what they think. I've met a guy that lives down in Florida, about 3 miles from my mom and dad. And he's like, well, if you come out to Florida and you're in Boynton, he gave me his card. He's like, come on over. Well, I've got a great collection. So there's a lot of stuff that happens from the people standpoint. And Walter will completely back this up. I think this is one of the things he enjoys the most, hanging out at his place with different types of people, having a good time, experiencing responsibly bourbon, and just enjoying themselves and relaxing. So
and that's exactly what drew me to this place too, is that day that I met Walter, and like I say, handed him the card, told him who we were and all that, and that we wanted to come back and talk with him. And it, like I said, the whole staff there is like that. They're geared to talking with people and opening up with people and just making your experience the best that it can possibly be.
Well, and the staff gets along with each other so well. You see the girls all go to different distilleries and check out what they're doing at different distilleries, or doing stuff with the women in whiskey groups, or different women's whiskey groups. And it's just overall a really cool. I think that's shout out to Walter for his ability to hire quality, great people. I mean, you just feel like that. It doesn't feel like Whiskey Thief Distilling Company. It feels like Whiskey Thief Distilling family. That's what that's got, and the people that come out. And I've told so many people about this, and they go and they're just like, well, we're going to be at Buffalo Trace. I'm like, you got to go to Whiskey Thief. And every single one that has gone to Whiskey Thief, they say, thank you for that, tip to go to Whiskey Thief. And I will be doing it now that Whiskey Thief is supporting us. I'm going to be supporting Whiskey Thief, and it's just kind of like,
more.
The gloves. We got to put the gloves on, not off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we can just go out there. We're allowed to promote our sponsors more, and I want to make everybody out there who wants to sponsor the podcast, want to make you all jealous because Walter has jumped in and we're going to make it pay off for him. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So
thanks, everybody.
What?
I said thanks, everybody, for tuning in to us.
Yeah. We'll just finish it with
joining us. Yeah.
We'll finish it with, and then I'll jump off of, you can stay on, Nash. I'll keep talking. But full disclosure, I didn't pay for this. I will be, but because I'm a fan, he said I will
That's
be.
Right.
I will be, but because he's a fan. Thank you. I appreciate that, Walter.
Thanks, Walter.
No, honestly, it's like when it comes to the sponsorship of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, I'm not going to take a sponsorship from somebody who's not producing stuff I love. I mean, that's why why we were with the Spirited French Lick and Alan Bishop. That's why we're with Rosewood Bourbon and Rise. What Jason Giles does there, he sent up the whiskey. I got to taste it. It was fantastic. So I want to support people who understand what it's like to make good whiskey, what it's like to blend good whiskey. And I love to do anything I can help them out, because what you're doing, Walter, is unlike anybody else in the industry, and you're doing it well. And it comes across as you care. Same thing with Alan Bishop. Everything that he does, I mean, I feel like Alan is one of my good friends, and he's a brother. I love him. And I'm sure as we keep going, this type of relationship will keep going. And, we're like that. I don't want to, if somebody came to me to be the sponsor, it's not just about, this. I've worked on other places that I would love to have sponsor the podcast, except for maybe ownership doesn't agree. They don't understand how a podcast works. So it's something special when the owner of the distillery and then all the people that we like want to sponsor us. That's not something that's always happening. Sometimes there's a lot of people who want us to be, to want to sponsor us, but that the ownership doesn't quite understand what we can bring to the table. And it's really kind of cool that Walter does understand what we can bring to the table to promote the whiskey that's being made. All right. So there we go.
Yes.
All right. So remember, good. So who is Jonah and Jeremy? Walter, inbox me. Another one, right? Another one.
No, that's the same one. She's already went through the list one time.
Oh.
And she hit Walter up earlier, and now she's trying to hit Walter up again to sell him his own whiskey.
I don't know. Can you get one of those bottles, Walter? I don't know if you can. She's going to get it for you. If you can't get your own.
You can't get it, Walter. She can get it for you.
What a moron. That's just a bot, folks. And they're just, I really believe I'll go through it and delete every single one that she responded to when I get at this.
We'll block her when we get the chance.
But I probably blocked 100,000 already. I mean, every time I block them, I delete them. You try and give some people a chance, and they're not willing to do the things that need to be done. All right. So let's just do it, and then we'll end the YouTube, and then we'll end the Facebook. But everybody, good bourbon.
Walter says she might want to be a sponsor.
Good bourbon, good whiskey equals good times and good friends. Remember, drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and live your life uncut and unfiltered. All right, everybody. I'm going to take us off YouTube real quick. Thank you for everybody. Thanks, Walker, real quick for being manning up the YouTube at the end. I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely, Walker. Thank you. And thanks, everybody, for watching and tuning in to YouTube. And
look for us at Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Starting, the trip starts on Saturday, so there'll be a lot of surprise lives Facebook and YouTube.
Yes,
So
there
we'll
will.
just alternate each one going forward. So, all right, everybody. Good night. I'm gonna shut us off YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
There we go.